I pity the fool who doesn't know these facts about the A-Team van.
This road leads directly to the airport, Hannibal.
This road is nowhere near the airport.
From different vans used in the same scene, to changing license plates, and even an auctioned-off A-Team van that fetched almost $100,000. These are 20 weird facts you didn't know about the A-Team van. Different vans. Although the show credits often list the van as a 1983 model, and the iconic livery dates from the pilot year, the production team sometimes use different vans for stunts or promo work. According to an auction listing, one of the 6 official promo vans built for the show was derived from a 1979 Chevrolet model that was rebadged to match the GMC Vandura look. So while we say 1983 Vandura for the star van, there's a little weirdness in the production lineage behind the scenes. Changing license plates. The van's license plates changed frequently. This is because the show used different vans while producing the show. There were even times when the front plate and the rear plate wouldn't match at all. Among the ones that appear in different episodes are 2E14859, 2L83000, and S967238. It's funny to think that such a slick action vehicle would have such random plate numbers, showing that even the cool car got its share of TV stand-in parts and inconsistencies. And this wasn't all. They would sometimes also feature a red GMC logo, while other times, the GMC logo would be gray on the same A-Team van. And if you want more inconsistencies, then a glaring one has to be there's no sunroof. One of the odd continuity quirks of the show is that some versions of the van had a sunroof and others didn't, and this shows up in episodes. For example, in the Season 3 episode, The Bells of St. Mary's, there's a stunt where Face jumps onto the roof of the van, and you clearly see no sunroof. But in the next scene, he climbs in through one. This kind of behind-the-scenes slip adds a weird charm to the vehicle's on-screen life. And there's another fact some fans might have missed.
New record, coast to coast in 38 hours.
Different headlights. Because the crew had a couple of vans to use during the shooting of the show, and for different scenes, most of them weren't true. For some of the more rugged and rougher scenes, they used older models. How do we know this? It's simple. The older models used to smash that like button, just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, we know this because the older models had the round headlight, while the newer models had the iconic square headlights.
Los Angeles Underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find...
Dangerous interior. The interior of the van is more purposeful than plush. It came with 4 captain-style seats and a CB radio setup with Spartan design. Some replicas add extra props, weapons racks, filming-style modifications. But the show van was built for utility and action, not comfort. Under the hood. Under the hood, the van used in the show is often cited as being built on a 5.7-liter V8 platform, 349.8 cubic inches, for many of the builds. That engine size was common for the 1983 GMC Vandura with V8 options. The published specs for the Vandura indicate the 5.7-liter V8 had a horsepower range of around 160 to 230, depending on the exact tune. However iconic and powerful the A-Team van might have been, it's mainly due to the producer's extensive experience in creating iconic movie cars.
Let me tell you this, once and for all. No sale and no threats. If anything happens to any kids around here,
Van designer Stephen J. Cannell wasn't just the legendary producer and screenwriter behind the A-Team. He was also a novelist, and even appeared as an actor in films like Half Past Dead, 2002. Before he and Frank Lupo created the A-Team in 1983, Cannell had already made on-screen vehicles iconic through shows like The Rockford Files, co-created with Roy Huggins. But once the A-Team premiered, B.A. Baracus's 1983 GMC Vandura instantly became the standout vehicle that stole the spotlight. But these vans were not just stealing the spotlight, they were also stealing people's hearts.
Hopster!
People's van.
then swap them off camera for working versions. The fake welding setup looked incredible on camera, but weighed almost nothing. Real welding equipment would have added 400 pounds to the van's load. The empty tanks and dummy equipment kept weight down while maintaining the illusion of a fully equipped mobile workshop. Fans who met the van at promotional appearances were shocked to discover the welding gear was fake. Many assumed BA really could weld and fabricate parts inside the van during missions. The illusion was so convincing that welding equipment manufacturers offered sponsorship deals, wanting their brands featured on the dummy tanks.
8 different vans. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like the video so far. On the TV series, the stunt coordinator and second unit director for the show was Craig R. Baxley, who supervised the van action sequences and confirmed that the production had at least 8 different vans built for the show. 2 for first unit filming and 6 used for stunts.
The surprise inspections, who knows? There might even be a very bad accident, and I know.
Destroyed vans. The original van builds were heavily used and destroyed. Among the 8 or so vans used in filming, the production destroyed at least 4 during the run of the series, according to stunt coordinator Craig Baxley. And no, none of them are actually black. It's not black. The van that starred as B.A. Baracus' ride wasn't pure black, as many people believe. It was actually painted in a 2-tone scheme. The upper portion above the red stripe was painted in a metallic gray, while the van was black beneath the stripe. It's one of those details toy makers and posters often get wrong, which makes paying attention to the gray over stripe look a fun little obsession for die-hard fans. And speaking of inconsistencies with the van, who drove it? Even though Mr. T said, "Are you crazy? Nobody drives my van but me," to the parking attendant in one episode, in reality there was actually a stunt driver who drove the van regularly. For the most dangerous jumps and chase sequences involving the van, stunt driver Henry Kingy was responsible for driving the van. In an interview with Craig Baxley, he said, "I had Henry Kingy doing all the jumps and major chase sequences on the 1983 GMC Vandura used in the TV show." But for the movie itself, all of that changed. Change to the van. For the 2010 movie adaptation of the A-Team TV show, many fans believed this was the same van they used on the show. But that's not actually true. Instead of the classic 1983 GMC van, they used a modified 1994 Chevrolet G20 cargo van, rebadged, modified to look like the classic van, for the major screen van scenes. They did such a good job at this that very few people noticed the van was different. Used for promotion. The movie van was displayed publicly ahead of the film's release. So, if you were in New York in 2010, then you could go to the New York International Auto Show, where the van was used for the promo. One distributor noted that the new van evokes the original van design, but it uses a newer chassis from the 90s. Also, it comes with cool interior customizations, like diamond-quilted vinyl door panels, plus dangerous-looking red switches on the dash. And even European car brands were copying the A-Team van.
Los Angeles Underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find
Opel's O-Van. Opel's O-Team Zafira Life van was Germany's own version of the A-Team van. But they couldn't be too obvious about it, so the O in O-Team stands for Opel. The van is Opel's 4th generation of this model, and it comes with 177 horsepower and 400 Newton-meters of torque, thanks to the 2.0 diesel engine. I wonder if Mr. T would approve of this van today. Speaking of newer era vans. Different era vans. Despite being used in a series that aired from 1983 to 1987, the van line from GM had been largely unchanged for years. This meant that older or younger model years of the GMC Chevy G-Series vans looked very similar. That means in fan replica builds, you'll sometimes find 1981 or 1982 chassis being used and still passing for the classic look. And if you're really lucky, you can get one at auction. But be prepared to shell out some serious cash.
Let me tell you this, once and for all. No sale and no threats. If anything happens to any kids around here,
Auction prices. While the truly original ones are rare, one of the officially licensed promotional vans, a 1979 Chevrolet G-Series built to look like the A-Team van, was listed for auction. Some replicas traded in the tens of thousands of dollars. Recently, one of Universal Studios' promotional 1979 Chevy 2500 vans was sold at Worldwide Auctioneer's Auction for $84,000. But this one was black and gray with an orange stripe, and it was sold in 2021. But what if you want to rent a van like this? Fan-made replicas. If you're a big A-Team fan and you want to go to Comic-Con in style, then you can rent one. However, you'll need to ship it overseas. That's because the van is located in the United Kingdom. A UK-based company, A-Team Van Hire UK, advertises a meticulously restored, era-correct replica, complete with 5.7-liter V8 as noted, available for events, weddings, Comic-Cons, and more. So if you want the van look, you don't necessarily need an original. Imagine driving in this van for a wedding. How sick would that be?
New record, coast to coast in 38 hours.
Weapons bay. The van became so iconic that in some promotional versions made for car shows, the vehicle's interior was fitted with a faux .50 caliber machine gun mount behind the cargo floor. Even though on screen, such an extreme weapon wasn't part of the regular team's van setup, it's wild to imagine the toy-like fantasy version of the van having that mount, which shows how the legend of the vehicle expanded beyond what viewers actually saw on TV.
Hopster!
Surviving one. One of the original 6 vans used for the show is listed as being displayed in the Cars of the Stars Motor Museum in Keswick, in northern England. However, that museum closed in 2011, and many of the cars were relocated. So while fans once could visit it in Keswick, now you'll need to drive to Florida. What? You thought you could no longer see the A-Team van? One of the last surviving models of the van is located in the Orlando Auto Museum in Orlando, Florida. So, all the big fans know what to do. Thanks for watching. Here's another video car enthusiasts loved watching.